something to
I
think
shared
about?
that with Glenn, Bill Howard, because he also
Okay.
approached me about it, and I shared that because he was gonna have, he said, how much work are we gonna put on the county? I'm like, a lot.
During an election year, it'll be terrible when we're
So-
trying to conduct
Is this the
$3 utility, yeah.
sewage storm, is it the storm drain piece?
Something like that.
Yeah, we are now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to comment later. Steve, did you have anything different for what you're gonna talk about than what you handed out before? As far
Oh,
as
the Memorial
changes?
Park.
Memorial Park change.
Yeah.
I thought I
didn't, it wasn't in the.
it wasn't in the packet. Yeah, it is. It's in my packet.
It's my bag. Let me see.
I don't have anything in mine.
It's right there. Okay, good. You have it. You all have it.
There it is,
Just have to dig way far down.
You all have it.
No.
I didn't find
I'm
it.
not gonna say that.
Zip. Oh, yeah, I do have it. Must have been stuck together. I didn't see it.
It's right there, Myron.
Number 3 is very important.
All right.
I wonder why you would say that.
Well, because we have to be law-abiding citizens.
Because I got these new contacts and they're monovision, so one's far away and one's up close, and I'm like,
I've never heard of monovision.
yeah.
I have monovision, but I only have one contact.
Well,
Oh,
that's because your other eye takes care of the other side. So
Because I can
this
see-
contact that you've got is working with your good eye.
yeah. They tell me it'll work.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I've been doing it for years.
I mean,
That was just streaming.
Hmm?
That was all streaming.
yeah, perfect. Everybody knows I have monovision. Great. One
Information.
far away contact, one up close. I can still see. Thank you.
You
Miss the bottom step.
Yeah, don't miss the bottom step.
you don't know if you're coming or going, huh?
I don't know if you can run that fast to catch it.
He gets there pretty quick. I have a lot of videos.
I know. It's caught quite a few.
It's just amazing.
Now, it's all the way across.
Well-
I think it must be yesterday or something.
Really?
Yeah, Brad called me and says, you better get somebody to do your ankles.
Nobody reported. Okay.
Unless it was over there.
All right, it is 9 a.m. I'm going to call this meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. It is Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I believe it is my turn this week. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if anyone has a cell phone, if they would please make sure it is on silent. If you need to take a call, if you could step out, would be appreciated. We will still do calls for public comment. The two phone numbers are 882-6248 and 882-6297, and they will be addressed during the open part of the meeting. Item number 3, conflict of interest items. Are there any for fellow commissioners on the agenda?
None.
All right, item number 4, action to approve the February 9th, 2021 agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Action to approve the minutes of the February 2nd, 2021 meeting.
So move.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All right, monthly reports. We'll start off with the auditor. Cindy, what do you have for us?
We are working on the annual report, just catching up on things that also got put off after the election, during the election season last year. But we have just starting working on the annual report, doing the regular bills, payroll, catching up on timesheets. That's about it. The W-2s have all been distributed and taken care of. So just working towards getting the year going, and pretty soon we'll be sending out budget forms for 2022.
Very good.
We were talking about bills just a few minutes ago, and there was one that was just introduced under the wire that, and I'm just gonna mention it, but I don't know anything about it, about the voting process.
I know there's a bill that's been brought back again to shorten the early voting process,
Yeah.
which there's absolutely no reason for. I can't see any benefits to it. It's not, people do not have to vote early if they're not ready, if they don't want to. But it's a great help to people who travel. And they're not going to restrict it on the UOCAVA voters who are the overseas military and citizens. That's not going to be restricted. So they're going to have one set of days for those people and another set of days for people who are not UOCAVA, which to me is discriminating against voters.
I'm sorry,
They
what's
want to
what's
shorten,
UOCAVA to you?
UOCAVA is uniformed overseas citizens. Yep, and overseas citizens. So we're still going to be able to send them their ballots early, but they want to shorten the time for everybody else, which is, in my opinion, it's ridiculous. The elections in South Dakota work. Why, with all the problems across the nation, why would we change the way we're doing things? The other thing is they're trying to shorten up the time period for how soon we can print ballots,
That's the one I see here.
which will also put a crimp in our process,
Yeah.
because we use a company who prints ballots for multiple other states. Right now, we're at an advantage. We can get our data to them, our ballot information to them, and they can start running our ballots, and we don't get behind the queue.
Well, didn't we have a problem with that at the last election? There was a time issue or something that shortened up
If the
the,
printer makes an error, then you gotta send it back.
yeah. that
Right,
too.
and it's not the printer that's making an error, it's people who are pulling out of a race, or there's somebody challenging a ballot question. That's what delays us in getting our ballots printed.
So
think it's
so it
those
seems to
three.
me you still have the petition deadlines.
Right.
And that's what drives it. And so, and the other thing is if you try to crunch it too much, you're gonna create more errors.
Right, I don't understand where the legislature that is bringing these bills, where they're coming from. It works in South Dakota. Like I said, you don't have to vote early if you don't want to, but it greatly assists county auditors in the time it takes us to process everybody who wants to vote early, coming in the office.
And one thing I want to emphasize is that, with all the talk about mail-in ballots in other states, and this is not that. This is basically absentee balloting in the form of early voting, because you track the voter to the ballot, and that, in some of the mail-in situations
Right.
in other states, that wasn't the case.
Well, and we even had, this will even put a pressure on people who are voting by mail within the United States. We had numerous calls in both the primary and the general that we had sent a ballot out and people weren't getting them. The Postal Service was behind. We need every day we can get to get a ballot just to another state in this country and get it back before Election Day.
So you're talking about, just so people know, if they ever watch the stream, that you're talking about, residents of South Dakota that are registered to vote in South Dakota that request an
Right.
absentee ballot.
Right, we sent a ballot to Texas. 2 weeks later, they still hadn't gotten it. And the address was correct, and they're calling us and they want us to send them another ballot, which also causes confusion, but we will do it.
Do you know what the bill number is?
Yeah.
That one?
There's a couple of them.
Is
So
it Senate or
11
House?
Yeah, House Bill 1124, it's to modify certain requirements concerning the printing of ballots. That's that one.
Yep,
1125 defines the adjournment for counting of ballots. I don't know how you feel about that. And then 1126 revise certain provisions regarding
Turn your mic
absentee
on, Mike.
ballots, providing the Secretary of State may not mail an absentee ballot unless the voter has complied.
the Secretary of State does not mail absentee ballots in the first place. It's
Right.
done by the county auditors, so that is an error in the bill, but it's 1124, 25,
And
and
26.
26. are the
Okay.
bills we are looking at.
And then it says, or an application for an absentee ballot unless the voter
Right,
has requested.
Right,
it.
the
So there's
application,
two
yes,
statutes.
yes. Apparently, there were legislators that were not happy with with the requests that the Secretary of State's office sent out at the beginning of the pandemic last year. They were trying to assist voters. So they sent an application to each registered voter in the
Right.
state of South
Yeah.
Dakota. They're trying to stop that. The other thing is the adjournment thing. That was for, I believe, one larger county who had massive numbers of absentees to process. And that auditor made it clear that he was going to adjourn and then start up again the next morning, the day after election, in the counting of the absentees. And I believe
Yeah, they're
that's
addressing-
another thing they want to stop is the adjournment.
They keep you up all night then?
I guess.
That was in Florida, wasn't it?
No, it was in this state.
Oh, in South Dakota.
It
Okay.
was in South
As long as you're
Dakota.
clear about that, we're not counting ballots now. We're, so that's the issue is that this bill wants to
They
proceed.
want to address adjournment of counting absentee ballots.
Oh,
And there was one county in South Dakota who did that because of the massive numbers they had to process. You want to keep people there 24 hours straight, which doesn't seem
Seems like there's more room
room
for error.
Yes.
If people are
Yeah.
tired and fatigued, that
Yeah,
the machine will do it, but it's how you input it. So.
right.
So in essence, really 11:24, 11:45, 11:26, is that?
24,
three-
25.
No,
26.
24, 25, 26.
11, 24, 25, and 26. Yep.
Oh, 24, 25, and
Yep,
26.
those are the
Keep
three.
an
In
eye
other
on
words,
them.
when we contact our legislators, we'll.
We do not want to change the process in the number of days we are allowed to let somebody come in to vote or mail a ballot to a voter.
They also have one about making an appropriation for the purchase of new online voter registration systems and to declare
I
an
have no idea what
emergency.
that one is.
1271.
Oh, online, okay, online voter. South Dakota currently does not have online voter registration, and that's something I don't know if that's gonna happen.
It's gotta, I think we.
It,
There's some there's some CRA concerns about that.
Thank you for clearing that up.
well, it's not clear yet, but
Thank you for.
I'm sure your association is.
our association is opposing the bills. The Secretary of State's office is also opposing them, from what I
I
understand.
don't know when they're going to their hearings or on the House. Have they come out of the hearings yet?
There was some testimony early yesterday morning, and there were some things that were postponed and amended, so we haven't really heard yet where everything's at. I don't think they've come out of committee yet, so.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Okay.
hopefully they don't make it out. All right.
Motion to amend.
Anything else? Questions for Cindy? Not, we'll move on then to Director of Equalization, and that would be Shauna. Good morning,
Hi,
Shauna.
There we go. Okay, so we are just finishing up with all of our building permits, address changes, getting any properties that have sold. We're trying to get all of the names and addresses updated. This week, we're gonna update the computer system, property cards, probably this week and next week to reflect the new values. And then the last week in February, we will be printing and sending out the actual notices of any changes that we had done. So we're gonna have a pretty busy week or month.
Right.
And then go from there.
So this year we decided not to add that extra verbiage in there because.
I think we were gonna think about it and then discuss it now, because we have a sheet that we have to implement into there now that basically just lists out all the different special things that we have for assessments, so like the elderly assessment freeze and veterans, and it just lists it all out, kind of tells what it is, and then it's basically just saying we have these programs available, please call to see if you qualify, so.
I think that's good to put that in, because I
Yep.
think there's a lot of individuals that don't realize those programs are out there.
Yes,
So
true.
I guess one year we could probably skip putting in the things that we put in, I would think, because we've done that for how many years in a row, and,
Quite a few, yeah.
yeah, maybe it's take a break and then we put it back in, it will look new next year, and,
Yes, next year Ultra will be able to get all of this new verbiage onto the assessment notice.
Okay.
So then we won't have that extra sheet. It's just this year.
right.
So,
What does the rest of you think?
Yep,
That makes
sounds
sense,
good.
makes sense to me, yeah. I think it's important to keep reminding people though. I mean, these are, you know, it's hard to get the word out sometimes. So anything, any means we have, we should use
Yep.
it.
Right.
Skip a year and bring it back next year.
there you go.
Sean, I think you had something legislatively going on with the property tax. Maybe you're not aware of any of that. Can't remember what number it is.
Say the
right
one
now.
that we are talking about really with the association is just, it's actually updating the qualifications for ag. It's kind of changing
Yeah.
some of the wording, making it like, basically trying to get rid of some of the, fraud with the people trying to have small acreages and qualifying for ag. We really, it's not gonna affect us that much, but I know the association really wants to get that to go through.
You
And I
have,
know we had one that they wanted to change the ag exemptions. Right now you get $10,000, excuse me, off, put out an exempt if you have egg buildings, and they wanted to change that to 100,000. But I don't even think that one got tabled, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure,
So off the assessment or off?
off the assessment. So like right now, if you have an egg parcel and you have a $200,000 building, 10,000 of that is exempt.
Okay.
And they wanted to change that to 100,000, which
I see.
that would have changed quite a bit.
Yeah,
they also have one on riparian buffer strips.
Yes, that one, and honestly, I think we have maybe one or two people that apply for that
Right.
anymore. But it would make it, you apply every 10 years
Mhm.
instead of every year. And then I think it changed it.
It's down to 50%.
Yep, right now it's a 40% discount and change it to 50, but I'm not sure how that one is sitting either.
Yeah.
But since we only have one or two people applying for it anymore,
Right.
it's not gonna affect us that much, but.
With that going to 50%, that would allow them more of a break, though, like some of them determined that it was a lot of work for what they were actually going to.
Well, it's not really a lot of work for them, and anybody that really has a repair can apply for one. They're gonna keep it that way anyway, because they've always had it that way. So I don't know if it's just a matter of they just don't know exactly what they're getting, because you can't really see on your assessment notice what is coming off and what's not. But when you only have a few acres, then
The amounts aren't that,
it's not that much, but still, I mean, it takes 5 minutes to come in and do it, but.
yeah.
Probably the part that I see that people drag their feet on it is if you have a meandering waterway through your property, when you got 100-foot tillage, piece of tillage equipment, and you're trying to follow a meandering, it's difficult.
Yep. Mhm.
And I've been there.
Yep.
I've turned around and wiped out a beginning of a nice waterway development by not paying attention because there's 50 foot of what I was pulling behind of me, over there. It's cumbersome, but it's a good program.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
not saying
And
it's not a good
I
program.
think that's why they want to change it to the 10 years applying instead of one, because they'd probably get more people
Yeah.
to do it. But we do have quite a few people in Codington, property owners that are doing it. They're just not applying for the buffer strips.
Yeah.
It's common sense practice. It's a
Yep.
good thing.
Mhm.
But we got people that can't follow the right of way lines.
Right.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
So this other one, that 1085, that's the redefine the criteria for classifying land in agriculture for tax purposes. That's the one
Yes.
you were talking about,
Yep.
because it says the commission can, the amount of acres is set by the county commission between 20 to 160 acres.
Yep. And we have ours set at 35.1, 35.01 is what we have ours. It just can't go below 20. Yep.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
guys set the criteria.
Okay. Very good.
And that's
That's all
been
I
referred to Senate taxation, so that's where that's at.
Yep.
Yep.
Passed the House taxation and the House of Reps, so now it's over on the Senate side. All right, and we have, coming up in March, we'll have our boards, correct?
Local boards will meet in March. I think their deadlines for appealing to your local board is the 11th of March. And then they will start meeting the 16th of March, but we as a county board and consolidated board will not meet until like the second Tuesday in April.
Oh, okay, so it's further back this year.
Yep, well, it's always the second Tuesday in April.
I was thinking it was in March, but I suppose
No,
that's all that other.
Yep, local boards are all done in March. And so, yeah, and then county consolidated starts. So we start talking about them as soon as they.
We're going to be able
notices go
to
out.
proceed as we have in the past, or are we going to have to incorporate Zoom? Is there any talk or anything?
No one has really said anything. I know last year we did it over the phone. I mean, in some ways it was easier, in some ways not. I don't know. I think maybe we'll have to discuss it. We have been going out and doing the building permits and getting into people's houses. And we've had a couple that, you're not coming in. And so then we're like, okay, that's fine. They're worried about COVID, but I think it's really going to depend on how many we have and the type of people, if they're going to, be worried about it. If not, if there's more vaccines done in that, I have no idea.
Right,
Yep,
we got
I
a
think
few
that's
months.
the
yet.
key.
It's a moving
The quick
target.
answers, I'm not sure yet.
That's right.
But
Yep.
2 months can make a big difference.
yes, yep. Yeah, but that's all I got.
Anyone else have any questions?
Thank you.
Shauna?
Thank you.
No problem. And if you guys get any calls, just send them our way.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank
We know
you.
where you're at.
We didn't do any reappraisals this summer, so any phone calls that you really get, maybe from the ones that we did, like Sheridan,
Mhm.
not Sheridan, Elmira, and then
Mhm.
Pelican. I think the last two that we did 2 years ago. So
2 years
I know we
ago.
got a couple calls when the tax bills went out, so, but otherwise there shouldn't be much out there. So,
Very good.
thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Shauna. You'll have a busy year this year then if you'll
Oh, right.
get caught up. All right, we'll move on then to the welfare office. Carrie is here this morning.
Morning, Carrie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody?
Very
Good.
good. How
Good.
about
How are
you?
you?
I'm all right.
Didn't freeze up walking across the street, did you?
No, it's a little chilly though.
It is.
Did you drive across?
No, I didn't. I put my coat on the heater before I left and wired it up, so it was not for that.
Next week we'll be in the lower teens.
Heat
Balmy.
Something to look forward to.
So January was a little slow, a little quiet over there, which I was kind of surprised a little bit. So we didn't have a whole lot going on. The new CARES funding went online yesterday. I have not gotten, I just received this morning the amended contract for the old one that got extended till December. And so I do have that. That I'll put on the agenda for next week to approve and have you guys sign. And then hopefully the other one will be coming soon to the new CARES. We haven't done or I said South Dakota Housing has not done a press release yet. They were gonna try and do one either later this week or the first part of next week to get it out to everybody, but without even having a press release. Yesterday at about 2:00, they had over 200 applications statewide. Just in Codington County, we have 11. So,
From the criteria has changed. They've lowered
Yep.
the,
they've lowered the annual median income. It's 80% this time. So like for example, a family of 4, the annual income has to be under 60,550. So, but we do have we do have right around $3 million of the old funds. And that AMI is 87,975. So we do have that to help people with mortgages. There's just one application, they go in and fill it out, and then we kind of take a look at like where they fall in. So we're really gonna try and use the new funds because there's a lot more of them,
right,
and save that higher one for people with mortgages, because this new one does not allow for mortgages.
right. It's just going to be on rental.
Yes, yep. So we'll try and save that old one just to help
Right.
with
with the mortgages, which I'm thinking that those are going to be kind of starting to pick up here
Mhm.
once their forbearances have expired and stuff. So
Yeah, that's a
try to
good
get
plan.
people caught back up.
Yep.
So, I guess the question I had for you guys was the process, like when I do get the contracts, I was kind of looking through some old emails and stuff, and it looks like it got sent to the attorney first to have them take a look at it. Do I need to do that with the old, with the amended one too before you guys sign it? Or I wasn't sure the process.
It's
I
probably
would
good to
say
do
it's
it.
probably good
Yeah,
to
and
have.
then Myron's your liaison, so,
Yep.
so.
And I did,
yeah.
she did ask who was gonna be signing it. I did tell them you, just because we don't have, the new director doesn't start till next week. I wasn't sure if we'd get the contract before she started or not. So I did put you
I think,
down
didn't I
as the-
sign the last one?
They typically.
I don't know.
Sarah did sign the last one.
She did
yes.
sign the last
Yep,
one.
yep.
Well,
Okay.
I think that, yeah, I think we had a discussion about that. I think the board's got to approve it, so it makes sense for the chair to sign. And I think that's generally the process when the county's
That's what
agreeing to
we-
things.
Right.
So-
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought I signed it, but
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
the last one,
No.
Sarah did
Yeah.
sign it. And
I think we, yeah, we. and,
but
yeah,
I think we
there-
changed that after the fact that she shouldn't
Yeah,
sign that.
I mean, and, yeah, so.
Anyway,
So, yeah, so I just had, so Myron's name is on the contract, for signing the amended one.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that's what they'll use for the next one, the new one as well. Looks like there's two other businesses here in town that are gonna be processing Codington County as well. ICAP is one of them, and looks like Lutheran Social Services as well is
Okay.
doing
Hmm.
quite a few too, or I don't know if they haven't picked up any yet. Like I said, it just opened up yesterday, so
right.
So there could be quite a few.
there could be quite a few.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had 11 just yesterday alone, with no advertising or anything, just people knew that,
It was gonna happen.
yep.
ICAP hired, I believe, two new people specifically to do this
Right.
because it was very time
And
consuming.
no, I didn't hear if it was in the Watertown. I know that they were looking like for Brookings and Sioux Falls. I don't know if it was here in
No.
Watertown.
I wouldn't say it was here, but they can pull them.
Yep.
Any of them can pull from
Yes.
anywhere. They just were going to hire,
Right.
because they had a lot down in Sioux Falls.
They had a
so.
lot in Sioux Falls, yes, yeah. Yeah, like I said, yesterday by like 2:00, 3:00, there was over 200 applications statewide and they haven't even done a press release, so.
Yeah.
Wow.
So people are calling on it. We got a lot of phone calls regarding that, so.
Right.
But that's good.
It is good, yes. It's
That's what it's there for.
nice to be able to help people and,
Yeah.
try and get them ahead and back on track, so.
Good.
So I don't know, well, it's not really on the agenda. I guess you're gonna put it on. I was gonna say, I don't know if we need a motion then to allow for Myron to sign that contract when it comes or
No, it's
how?
got to come before the board
Does have
first.
to come
Yeah.
before
It's
the
got to
board?
come before the board first, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
So.
all right. Well, it's gotta go to the attorney anyways. so.
Yep, yeah, I'll send that over. Like I said, I just got the amended one today. Hopefully the other one will be coming soon.
Is there any way to get the contract changed so it authorizes the chair to sign? Because it should be the chair that is
I can do
signing.
that, yeah.
Okay. To me, it should be the chair
Okay.
Yeah.
that signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, so then, until that's signed, you're not able to pick them up, or are they doing that the same as like they did last
They're
time?
doing it the same as last time because, we had that verbal agreement. And the program will be ran the same way where we're gonna process them and then South Dakota Housing will issue the checks.
Okay.
So, and then we do get $50 admin fee, $50 an hour. So I track my time and we have to track it between the two programs. So I'll track my time separately for
Okay.
whichever program I'm working on, and then we'll get the
Reimbursement.
reimbursement for $50 an hour, yeah.
Good.
So we don't need to take action just on, for a verbal agreement. I mean, we could theoretically under agenda item 11 if we had to, but I think we're all kind of nodding our heads to. say,
It's cleaner if you just put it on the agenda.
Okay,
It's easier to track.
okay.
All right.
So we'll get that on next week then,
Yep.
so that we can have that going.
And like I said, hopefully I'll have the other contract too, so we can do them both at the same time and,
Right.
but,
Yep.
Any
just send me the-
questions on-
just send me the wording for the
Okay.
agenda.
okay, I will certainly do that, yeah.
All right.
Any questions on the report. It's pretty kind of basic. I was trying to look at it too to see, like, is there any other information that you guys would like to see or kind of change that we can, you know, start doing too? Because I know this is kind of vague a little bit. So I don't know if there's.
I do this for another job. I can stop by and
Okay.
I had some thoughts about
Okay,
graphs. I always think about graphs.
Sure.
so.
yeah, I was like, if there's any other
Don't laugh,
information,
don't
because
laugh,
I, you
Commissioner
know.
Andrews.
Well, I appreciate it being current.
Yeah, that's
It's
the, that's
nice
it.
to be
That's
able
the
to look
main.
at just 1 month.
Yeah,
It
that's the.
seems like the numbers are kind of low for 1 month, so it doesn't look that impressive. It's like, wow, what do you do over there? But we are busy, I promise.
Mhm. You are busy.
So,
Yeah, very
but yeah, if there's any other information that we could put on there that would kind of,
Lee, did we talk about also having the information, and we can get that from ICAP, like the programs that some of these individuals are utilizing, the ICAP programs? Were we going to have that as part of?
That's part, yeah, we talked about a data, some kind of a data tracking thing with the ICAP agreement. So yeah, we can.
We'll try to
we
figure
can-
that
We
out.
might be able to, include it all together somehow with
Right.
some work, but that's a bit down the road.
Yeah.
And while Carrie's here, I might as well, if I could just add on, so we've been having some discussions about this whole systems of care idea that we brought the ICAP person in for. And I think I sent you the
You did,
invitation.
yeah.
So the next step looks, and I have to go through I got a lot of answers back on what the best day for people to meet will be, but we're gonna convene the Behavioral Health and Justice Working Group just to discuss kind of some next steps, how we're gonna do that. And there's a couple other things taking place in the community. And the whole idea with the BHIDGWIG is to, you wanna have a community focus on all these social services thing. It kind of came out of the Stepping Up initiative where we're trying to reduce mental illness in the jail, but really you kind of see how it all kind of fits together. And so this is an effort to open the aperture. And one of the nice phrases that comes out of the whole Stepping Up thing is that warm handoff idea. So doing a better job as a community in tracking, where folks that, end up needing assistance, where's the best place for them to get assistance. And so that everybody kind of understands, what's out there, and that, oh, maybe I'm not the best person for you, but maybe this faith-based organization is a better fit, that kind of thing, so that we all kind of know what everybody does. And I think there is kind of a general knowledge out there, but kind of systematizing it a little bit more is the idea.
seems like the follow through too sometimes on that.
Yeah.
It's like, I might refer you to somebody else, but then are you actually gonna do,
Right.
And there's those, there's
Yeah.
some people out there that don't wanna ask for help, so when they do finally come to us, we pass them off to
Right.
somebody else, they don't, there's
Yeah.
that trust thing, the confidence level, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
And so it's like,
Yeah.
if it's kind of nice having the ICAP person there, because then if I know that I can't help them, she's right there and
Right.
has kind of listened a little bit to what we're doing. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of, that's
Yeah.
a little bit better. But yeah,
And there are a lot of people around the community doing different things, like they're trying to publish a little guide about the different offices, but I think we need to kind of consolidate that probably in 211 since we have it, and those
Right.
kinds of things.
yeah, that
And then-
211 is really neat.
Yeah, and
If we could utilize that more.
so making sure that that's kind of maybe, decide what the thing is going to be, whether it's 211 or something else. And then that's kind of the idea with it. And why should the county kind of lead that? Well, in law, the county is the welfare provider, is kind of the way it's meant to be.
So also to have those interagency agreements so that the sharing of information, like you say, you have someone that trusts you so that, you guys can work together
Yeah.
on these
Yeah.
people and.
And that's part of the systemization of all, kind of all that's out there. So, and so that's part of what we're asking Amy from ICAP to help us to do. And so I'll probably stop by your office and maybe this afternoon to go over to get ready for that meeting. So if you guys don't mind. So.
That's why I mentioned the ICAP data.
She's not in today,
Oh, she's not? Okay, well, maybe
She'll be back tomorrow.
later, maybe tomorrow would be a better day then. So,
or
okay.
you could say, I'll be there all day. but-
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's what I thought, if you're
she's
gonna,
out today.
if you're gonna help with graphs, that you can maybe incorporate that other information in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to do once we figure out what it's gonna be, so. The one thing I just want to emphasize is that, so it started off, this whole Stepping Up thing started off as, for people involved in the justice system, and then, but if you open the aperture a little bit, you can still, I think we can make it work a little bit better in the community, so.
All right.
And the one thing that I did notice too, like, like the stepping up thing, I think another area we need to look at is like the homelessness, because there's nothing in town for that. There's no, we don't have our room anymore. Salvation Army will pay for a night or two.
Yep.
There's another program,
I think that's housing has been a,
That's
so-
always a big issue that we used to run into often at the PD
Right,
was, when it's 4 or 5, 6:30 below outside.
Right.
And these people don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
But, Salvation Army can't help them because they're an in-state resident or they've helped in the past or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah,
It's a dilemma.
And the thing with us having the room, now that we have Amy, we have more oversight and being able to keep tabs on those individuals in
Right.
those rooms where,
right. And I did reach out to the guest house regarding our room. And she was very hesitant to do it again. I did, did let her know that things had kind of changed in the office, that we do have somebody that can, and she said that she would have to talk to everybody, and I have not heard back, and I haven't really pushed her on it either, so.
right? And even for them, I mean, I would think they would have some responsibility to keep tabs on some of that stuff too, if it's in their own facility, but anyway.
Yeah, so, but yeah, like I said, I did reach out to her. I haven't really pushed it too much. I figured we'll kind of let it sit for a little bit
Yeah.
and, and then reapproach it,
There's not,
I wanted her to get to say yes before, we did any kind of contract or anything with her, but
right. Maybe something will come out with this behavioral health group too. You never know.
yeah.
What's
maybe there'll be
options.
some ideas. or
well, I mean,
something.
that's the idea is that's the forum to surface these issues. And
Right.
so, and that came up when under Stepping Up, we did a workshop a couple of years ago to try to, and that's kind of the first step we've already taken to map out, all that's out there in the community, and that issue of housing and homelessness.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Typically.
They're kind of
It
the
is, yeah.
elephants in the room.
So, all right,
Any other questions for Carrie?
Thank you.
all right. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Good job,
Thank
Carrie.
you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 7, action to approve the auditor's account with treasurer and note monthly register of deeds fees.
The monthly register of deeds fees for the month of January were $38,420.40. The other report is the cash and cash items on hand at the end of the last business day in January. Second page shows you where our fund cash balances are. It shows you that we need to pay out to the schools almost $1.6 million, just over 104,000 to townships, and over 309,000 to the cities and villages for taxes we collected in the prior month. Basically, that is the report in a nutshell.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. Any other comments, questions for Cindy? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All right, item number 8, action to approve Memorial Park rules and regulations, and we'll have Steve go through this with us. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. Well, I came a few weeks ago and spoke out about adding a couple rules on, and from there it went to the state's attorney, and she finally had time to look them over. On the most part, she kind of revised a couple wordings on most everything from line item 1 down to 16. The 2 rules to be added is 17 and 18. 17 happens to be to attaching personal property to the county property. This was brought up last summer, brought to attention, and from this, it is to no personal property may be attached to the county property. However, temporary signs or flag stands are permitted to be put into the ground on the campsite. Signs and flags may not be affixed to trees, posts, or etc. This should hopefully address some of those issues and topics that was brought up last year. Next one, number 18, is gas, electric, powered ATV, scooters, and golf carts may only be operated by licensed drivers. ATV, scooters, and golf carts shall not carry more passengers than recommended by the manufacturer. This one here, I've already had a couple concerns on this one. The only thing about it is in the past, there's been kids driving these things. If there happens to be an incident out there, we could probably get into a liability problem. But in reflect anything, it actually abides by number 3, all South Dakota laws will be enforced. I mean, this is a county property. It is not private, it is public, which reflects those laws to be in effect.
I'll make a motion to approve it. I think.
No, second.
Okay, motion by Gable, second by Van Duzen. Any other comments, questions?
You know, reference number 18, I've had a visit with a gentleman too that was concerned about that. And, you know, my response to him is we're not doing anything that the state park system in South Dakota don't do. And the reason for that is to protect our campers and people that are utilizing our parks. So we don't want anybody to get injured. And sometimes when youngsters are operating golf carts and that sort of thing, they like to take those off-road sometimes, and that's not the best scenario. So
Correct.
anyway, I think I'm glad to see that we're sticking by that.
And I basically pulled number 18 off of what the state parks rules and regulations are. And so they had on that one.
City Park is following these same guidelines.
City Park is not allowing no ATVs or golf carts in their park. They go back to that this is more or less a bread and what do you want to say, a bed and breakfast tax. It is not a street legal, so they abolish any UTVs or anything on theirs, which is understandable. Their park is a lot smaller. This one's a little bit larger for people to go from the upper campground to go down, and stuff. I feel that this is more comparable for our situation.
This is quite a lengthy list of rules.
Correct.
And I don't like rules. You know, rules are made to be broken. You know, that's the way it is. And all of us need to dial back to the first day we walked into the classroom as a first grader. And if the teacher had 18 rules on the chalkboard, you thought, oh my God, this is going to be one miserable year, you know? But how can we nicely introduce this? I mean, how do the campers know all these rules?
Well, it is on the brochure. It's also on the website. We need to go and get something so it's posted on a board.
When they
out at
check
the
in, are
park.
they given a copy of these?
They are basically, that's if they check in. But on the most part,
When they
need to be able to
when they
post
click the
these.
box to make the reservation.
Right.
Or they.
That is one of the things that's on this website deal that have the rules. When they click and they accept these rules. We're going to have it so they also sign for the ones that have called in. They need to sign a voucher for abiding by the rules. Yes. One thing that I was told that you start getting over 15 rules, some people just start to kind of.
Yeah, but let's look at the rules here
but
for
it
just a
is.
minute. Okay.
A couple of them could probably be like the pet one, and the unleashed ones could be used and joined together. But yeah,
I think it's fine.
Obey all signs within the park is a rule.
Right.
Okay, I mean, that's common sense,
Right.
right? Speed limit is 10 miles per hour. That one you probably have to post. All South Dakota laws will be enforced. Duh, right? I mean, so it's not that we have a lot of laws. It's just a reminder to folks that you need to abide by them if you're going to come and stay in the park. It's a matter of public safety. So anyway, that's my response to that. Thank you.
I like the short sentences. I like the fact that they're nice. Each one is short, as short as you can make it anyway.
Do not leave pets unattended. I like that one. That occurs quite a bit in parks that I've seen, and it's just common sense.
Remember, you got 18 rules here. Somebody has to enforce them.
yeah. I mean, and then yes, if the managers are not be able to handle it, then it would have to go to law enforcement and stuff like that.
And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be an issue unless we get a complaint,
Right.
right? I mean, so if you're doing 12 miles an hour in the park and someone complains, then it'll have to be addressed, right? But
True.
we're not going to
How
have
are you
somebody,
gonna determine
we're not going
12
to have
mile an hour
a sheriff's
to 10?
deputy out in the park with a radar gun writing
Right,
tickets.
right.
You know, that's not. the
But you
object
can
of this.
judge if they're gonna be if they're doing 20, you can pretty well judge that. You know, and there's distances in that area. One thing that I wanna do is add a couple more speed bumps in the area so they can at least have to
We
restrict
want everybody to have fun.
those. Yes. One thing I will address, a couple things on here, and so we had also is office call-in hours. It was pretty well left all the way open. This is not meaning that the office will be closed. It's just that there won't, just to regulate a little more time structure for call-ins itself. And if there's call-ins for complaints or call-ins for needing some things and so that. And then the other is check-in and check-out times. Used to be just at 12 o'clock. Addressing it more or less going to a 2 o'clock checkout time, allowing people if they want to basically have a noon meal and so that, and then allow time a little bit for cleanup or to advise people that they need to leave. So that's why the 4 o'clock check-in time.
I would like
allow those
to make a
differences.
comment on number
Yep.
9.
Okay.
And that number 9 says parties and excessive noise will not be tolerated. I think we need to eliminate the word parties
Okay,
out of there and just put excessive noise
okay,
will not be tolerated because people can have a party
Right.
and still not have excessive
And
noise.
excessive noise,
So
correctly.
if we limit
I can,
that to
I'll-
parties,
I'll amend my motion to.
I don't think you need to amend it because it's still a work in progress.
All right,
When you
okay.
make this change, the list is still being renewed or approved. I don't think you need to amend
that's just my
anything.
recommendation
All right,
on that.
okay.
It's just
Yeah.
verbiage
Okay.
issue.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so.
How many decibels is gonna be your noise level?
Excessive.
I was at a state park last year and I can't remember what she came around, the manager came around and the group I was with was getting a little bit noisy and she says, if I can hear you from this far away, then you're too loud.
Basically, if the neighbors are complaining that it's disrupting
That's
their
basically
peace and
it.
quiet, then it's too loud.
In other words, if you're gonna party, invite your neighbors.
You can get an app on your phone that can measure noise.
Yes.
But no, just common sense.
Yep.
So we understand.
Anyway, I would
that's
just
gonna-
like to
So we
take
understand that's
parties
gonna be, it's gonna just say excessive noise will not
Yep.
be tolerated. Okay. That's what I put on.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
Are we good then? And we'll vote on it yet, but any other changes that anyone notices or wants to add? That gives them 2 hours basically from checkout time. Till new ones
Right.
could come in,
Yep.
get things. like
Because
you
they
said,
ran into quite a bit of that last year, trying to,
get one
somebody
out.
coming in and getting them out and,
Right.
and over the lunch hour,
Mhm.
pretty well state parks. State parks are 4 o'clock, but this gives a little bit of a leeway.
Yeah, get time to get them out so new ones can come in.
Troy's looking it over pretty good.
Well, I just want to, I was a park ranger for the state for a summer and I'm actually doing it again this summer. So I just want to make sure that we're kind of in compliance and that all the laws are pretty
Correct.
similar. So if they're going from a state park into our county park, that there's no
see that.
discrepancy. So I just want to make sure that the verbiage is right. And if our state's
Yep.
attorneys look this over, it's in good
Yeah,
shape. But
she's
parties
looked
is the
most
one that I had the
everything,
most
and
concern
but
with.
she edited a few of the things, wording how it was before, so.
I have
responsible.
this vision of Troy with this camper hat on, and just. Did you have a?
Don't laugh, Myron. I
He's
could
not
be your
being-
worst nightmare this
He's
summer.
he's not being the bear.
Yeah, he's not smoking the beer.
With
The
that
best,
loosen
one of the
popper
best
that
jobs in the
one
world right there, in a park ranger.
got. I think he
I'm
did
telling
pretty
you.
well.
It's
Yeah.
great. So, but anyway,
Or did you just miss driving somebody else's vehicle at work?
no. A lot of this, like you said, is common sense.
Yep,
I like the
yep.
rules and I don't think we're asking anybody to do anything that they wouldn't normally do anyway. It's just a reminder. So,
Okay.
thanks.
All right. Any other? We have a motion and a second. We ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Thanks, Steve. Item number 9, note office closures on Monday, February 15th, 2021. It's federal holiday. Cindy,
This is just a federal holiday that is listed in our personnel policy. All county offices will be closed on that day. Came to my attention that we have a bid letting set for the next day. Maybe we should not set a bid letting for the day after a federal holiday because of submitting bids. Might be something to think about in the future because we will not get any mail on Monday. I mean, nobody will be here to get mail. The mail coming in on Tuesday doesn't normally get here very
What-
early.
Which is this?
The annual supplies for weed, chemicals, and highway supplies.
Okay.
Isn't that the fifth? Don't we usually have that end at 5 o'clock or?
No, it's that the bid has to be here before the meeting starts. But if somebody has mailed it in and it was supposed to come in the mail on Monday,
Mhm.
we may not
Yeah.
have the mail before this meeting is done.
Yeah.
Lots of times our mail does not come in until close to noon occasionally. So just something to think about in the future. I didn't even realize it until I was looking at the agenda yesterday and I thought, oh, so
well, hopefully those people take that into account that Monday's a holiday. If they're going to mail something.
they may or may not, but we'll deal
Well, if
with
we
it
know-
as it comes, I guess.
Do we know the likely bidders? We can contact them and just,
And
you
make
know,
sure that
make
they
sure,
know
I mean,
to.
there's a typical bunch of.
Right, there are,
companies that
and
do.
we have gotten bids from some of of our regulars already, but not everything.
Not the
So
time
we
to
don't
do
have
that,
to
then
take
somebody
action
doesn't
that
get a
day
phone call.
either. I
You
mean,
do
we
the best you
could,
can.
No, you don't have to take action, but the bids are supposed to be opened at this meeting.
And there-
right,
yeah,
but if some
and
comes
no
out
more- no more
because
bids
of
allowed
mail
after that.
purposes, like,
And yeah, usually after Monday holiday, the mail is late.
So we have the two
Steve?
people sitting here that primarily are going to be,
Yeah, that's why I
Receive.
brought it up.
and
That's
I
why I
think
brought
if
it up.
they have a pretty good idea who their vendors are, or maybe they can just touch
Yeah,
base with them
and it
as a
just,
reminder.
I don't know if it's happened before, but this time it just really jumped out at me.
Send a card out, and say, because of the holiday, be sure to get your bids in early.
if you know who's going to, you never know. You could have new ones. All right, well, let's move on to item number 10 then. Action to approve claims for payment.
Total claims are in the amount of $1,095,583.57. Of that amount, $560,763.18 is passed through to the state of South Dakota for fees that we collected in the month of January. There are a certain number of things that have been redacted just to protect the identity of juveniles we are working with and jurors. Those first 3 pages, we had 2 jury trials last month, and that was the number of jurors that, I mean, the dollar amount is not huge, but
A lot of traffic.
yes, a lot of traffic. In the auditor's budget on page 3, I highlighted an item. I annually purchase the reporting packets for the townships in Codington County, and those have all been mailed out to the townships so they can get ready for their annual meetings. There are a number of inserts that were put in them this year, and hopefully that will assist those entities on getting their reports filed. Other than that, I didn't see any claims that were really out of the ordinary.
I have one question. It's not a question, but a
Okay.
comment on court-appointed attorney. And of
Okay.
course, I've been watching that because that's the one that we've been dealing with. You know, expert witness, $6,300. You know,
That is a murder trial.
It's a murder.
It's a
Yeah,
murder
I-
tyrial, so yeah, it's gonna be spendy, but
Pretty
yes,
typical. They
it's
fly them in sometimes.
it's
Yeah.
infrequent, but it is high.
it's
They
a
get
really,
paid, that's why they're called experts, I guess.
well, they better be expected. The
Yeah.
further away from home they get, the more better an expert they are, I guess. So, but $6,300, that caught my eye.
Yep, it's, thank
That's why
goodness it
we
doesn't
have-
happen every month.
That's why we have clerk.
Catastrophic.
True,
legal.
yep.
Yeah.
That's why we belong to that pool, you're
Yeah.
correct, yes. Yeah, otherwise I don't see anything. We were able to get the gym memberships paid out to the employees who qualified after we did our prorating for the time the facilities were closed due to COVID.
Make a motion to approve if that's where we're at.
Yep.
Second it.
Susan, second by Johnson. Any other questions, comments for Cindy? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 11, action, possible discussion on COVID-19 practices, procedures, policies. Nothing this week. Item number 12, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
Nothing today.
Item number 13, action to approve personnel changes.
We have one. It is Ashley Linder in the treasurer's office. She is a clerk, due an anniversary step increase to step 8, $19.25 per hour.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 14, action to approve travel requests.
This travel request is for the 2021 New Officials Workshop in Pierre. It's a request from myself. I am going out to assist with training of new officials. They like for some of us who have been here a while to participate and give our hints and tips on how to get things done.
How to handle problem commissioners and stuff like that.
Okay,
Move
so
to approve.
motion by Johnson, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Gable. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. That's something I was going to mention. So in March, we have 5 Tuesdays. That week of the 16th, when our convention is, like, what time would you have to leave, Cindy?
Oh, not until late afternoon.
Okay, you're
That's
okay?
fine. Yep, that's.
Okay.
No,
Because I thought we could skip that week and then meet the last one then.
now let's just let it
Be all right?
go.
I
yeah.
have a 3 o'clock meeting, but I should be able to get out there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Item number 15, public notices, possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance. We have the Cracker Barrel and the Winter Farm Show that starts tomorrow. Anything else that anyone can think of?
That's scheduled yet.
Actually, we did have the crop show last Friday, and I spent the day out there. Crops are down, but we practiced our social distancing. Everything went fine. Got that job done.
Was there anybody that filled out the application for the FFA or the 4-H scholarship on that?
Oh, yeah, so that was a young man from Clark was the recipient or won that. Oh, for the scholarship?
Yeah, or
Or-
something, there was $1,000.
Oh, okay, for anyone that entered a sample into the crop show, their name went into the bucket. And we drew for one individual that had entered an exhibit to win $1,000 to be donated to their choice, whatever FFA or 4-H group or any ag youth group that they wish to. And this young, it was a young man from Clark, I'm pretty sure, and I should know his name, but I can't remember what it was.
Very good.
All right. Let's move on then to old business. Is there any old business?
Can I back up to the Cracker Barrel?
Yes.
That is going to be held on February 20th at Lake Area Tech. And I think I'm moderating it. I think it's at 10 a.m. that morning. Or no, I have 1 p.m. So
Well, that's late.
I need to check that. But Saturday, February 20th at Lake Area Tech is when that's the Chamber of Commerce Cracker Barrel. And then the Watertown Home Builders Association is also hosting one during the Home Builders Show. So
So they're not doing one during the farm show then?
Apparently not.
Because typically they do it on that
Yeah.
Saturday.
oh, you know what? I don't know. I need to double check that. But this is the
LATI
chamber one. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really
Does-
heard anything too much either about,
Does the chamber run all of them typically? I thought they kind of organize them, but.
Yeah, I think
Home Builders Association has one.
yeah,
They're organizing
I knew
that
that.
themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
that one's
I
gonna
think
be on
so.
Saturday, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
for Home builders, but yeah, usually, they do have one during the farm show, but
One on February 20th. They
It
aren't.
isn't, okay.
Okay, okay. So we'll just have the two then, I think, so far.
All right, well. Takes care of that.
Always, I think a good policy is some things that have been scheduled, before you go to them, check to make certain that they're, I know one of the things is a private applicators recertification school that was scheduled, a year, 2 years ago. In fact, I got a card here 6 months or more ago indicating all the sites in South Dakota where they're going to be doing the recertification and the times and everything. And then I found out Friday that they've all been canceled. I mean, they're all going to be virtual now. So anything that has to do with a group, make certain that you check before you go, because it's probably going to be on Zoom or something.
Is there a government affairs meeting? Like, usually it's about the second weekend, but I don't think I
I
got it.
haven't received a
Yeah,
notification.
so that might be tomorrow, but that's early in the morning on Zoom.
Yeah,
or
that's
on
all by Zoom
GoToMeeting,
anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Any other old business? How about new business?
I guess it's still news, I'll be figuring out the best date for this behavioral health meeting that, yeah, the BHWIG. Great,
All right.
great pronounceable acronym. Yeah. So
Yeah, you could have come up with a better one than that.
I think it's pretty good, BHWIG. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Mhm. If you can say it. How about new business? Do we have any new business? I know we have a few things for the open. Rick is here for one item or one thing he would like to mention to us, I believe. Is that correct? So if you want to come up, I'm going to go over some of these bills that we're watching as well.
I have one thing too.
Okay.
All right, Rick.
Morning, Rick.
Oh, so it was 3 before? I don't know. Morning.
Morning. I just wanted to bring up that Banner has completed the Hall Road assessment. I sent it to all you guys. And we're gonna need legal representation in there. And I've talked to our state's attorney and she's swamped.
Mhm.
So she would like some help. I was hoping she'd be here this morning to talk, but that's kind of where you guys come in, because I don't know where we go from this point, who we talk to.
Did you make any recommendations?
No, she did not.
Okay, I was wondering if there's any particular law firm or any attorney in town that specialized or actually has a keen eye for this type of a
Yep, and
situation.
I had asked her to see if she could come up with somebody, so.
Mhm.
There has to be, with all of them that have been built, there has to be.
Have you contacted our insurance company?
No.
To see if,
Oh, they might have
That's a
an
good-
attorney on
that's a good
staff.
idea.
I don't know. Is this if they have damaged our roads, do we,
I mean, the liability.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So maybe they would
Okay,
be
first step.
All right.
somebody to
Yep.
get involved. I'm not sure,
Yep.
but it would be
Yeah.
worth a call to see,
It's a good
tell them
idea.
what we're doing or where we're at and what's
Okay.
going on. And
What the steps should be.
yeah, if there's something through our insurance policy that would cover
Okay,
yeah.
yep.
Good idea.
You want to just, for the people that are watching here, Rick, you want to just give us a rundown on that whole situation? How that came about?
Well, this is all from the wind towers. When they came in, they damaged our asphalt roads. There's still work to do on our county gravel roads. And it starts at South Shore and it runs all the way down past Kransburg, almost to the county line. So there's roads all the way in there, and it's a pretty good sized chunk of change that Banner has come up with for the assessment. So, and it's been forwarded on to NextEra and Blattner, and so that's stuff that needs to get fixed. And they've got a year to fix it from the time that Banner sent it on to them. So basically, we have this summer to get it done.
Mhm.
So,
Was there 17 pages? Or was it? I
no,
read most of it.
there's a lot.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
it's more
of
than
stuff.
The one
There's two
document that
different-
was 81 pages.
Yeah.
So,
81 page, yeah.
yeah, there's
81 pages
We
of,
have to post it too.
That's why you pay
I don't
better.
know. That's on their website. It's
damage?
free, but yeah,
No,
then we have to keep up with that.
Just
Explanation.
Explanation,
Okay.
yes, that's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. Thank you, Myron.
For the extra reporting,
Yeah.
when it's already
So,
on.
They did this all
Yeah.
beforehand.
I
They
never
did an
realized.
assessment
Yeah.
before anything was ever started.
Yeah, I
So
don't
this is a
understand
follow-up, so
cutting
we can
that
compare.
much.
yeah, this is the post-construction evaluation that they did.
I know, I get questions about, of course, living out in that particular area, I get a lot of questions about all the damage that was done and I hope that people will understand that, I mean, we have pictures and, I mean, they did a lot of work, you know, to make certain that the roads and everything is back to as good or better than it was before. So there's a lot of work being done on this. So we're just not walking away from it.
No, Banner Associates did the pre-construction
Yeah.
and then they did the post-construction. And they've spent a lot of time putting documents together to back up what needs to be done. And they've done an amazing job to hold the wind towers accountable for what they did. Because like you said, before they ever came, they said our roads will be better, if not completely better than when they started, you know?
Same or better.
Yep. So that's all we want is at least the way it was.
It wasn't a windshield inspection, that's for sure.
No, you know, because I guess I didn't ask for them to come. Because our roads were pretty good.
Well, Banner, not only when you read all that other stuff, then there is just tons of technical stuff in there. Sounds like they not only, it's not only just surface, but they get down into
Yeah.
the core of the ground and the.
Yeah, because there's measurements, you know, that, well, some of the people that work here, I've seen them out on the road with straight edges measuring wheel ruts and the cracks that are in the road.
Yeah, it's a compaction underneath that
Yep.
happened.
A lot of traffic.
Yeah, they took a lot of years off some of our roads, so
Yes.
we just want them back to where they were.
yeah, I would recommend a contact, reach out to our insurance company and see if they have legal representation because they're going to have theirs there. So
yeah.
we need to make sure that we have adequate representation to defend the county, so.
And we know other counties have went through this process as well, so.
Did you ask Banner if they had any?
They didn't really have anybody. They just told me that they were not attorneys, so.
Right.
No, they weren't attorneys, but I thought they might have heard something from somebody.
No, they didn't have
Hearsay.
a name that came out. so.
If you have other counties that have gone through this, maybe reach out to them and see what process they went through and who they've utilized. So,
Some of those highway soups have retired, but I bet he'd still talk to you.
You know,
All
and
right.
some of them are still going through it right now
Yeah.
with us, so.
Mhm.
Yep.
Good.
all right, thanks, Rick.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Good to have that assessment done now. Now we know where we're at.
Is there
Yeah.
another
One more
issue
thing.
that you were going to talk about? Is there another issue?
I can bring that up next week. at the
Okay.
Meeting.
Okay.
That's up to you guys, so.
No, that's fine. Whatever you
Do it
want to
during
do,
your
that's fine.
report.
Just doing your report is fine.
These, one more question, Rick. Do these haul road agreements, does that come back when these blades are wore out and they have to bring in big equipment again to replace these blades?
They'll still be in effect, I'm sure, because, you know, they signed for it.
There was no end date on it, I don't think, was there?
That I'm not sure.
We'll have to
That's
look.
something that I'll have to talk
I
to
mean, I've seen several loads of blades go by my door and I'm just thinking about that. And it's not that particular truck, but it's that piece of big equipment that has to come in to do that job.
Yeah, because, you know, if a storm goes through and blows some down, you know, they have to be repaired, so. Yep,
We'll be back.
yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, Troy, you said you had something for the open?
Yeah, not a real big deal, but I did want to just bring to this commission's attention that over the weekend, the sheriff's office deputies volunteered much of their time. I think they were off duty when they were doing that, to come in and build bunk beds for the for the program Sleep in Heavenly Peace. They made, along with community volunteers, they made 31 bunk beds in just under 3 hours,
Wow.
which is remarkable for
Yeah.
kids that don't have beds. So I just wanted to reach out and commend the sheriff's office and the volunteers. And I know some reserves were part of that as well. So thank you for your service, and we're proud of you.
Yes,
Ditto.
very good, well, cause to be a part of. It's nice to see them step up. Thanks for that. All right, I'm just going to go over a few of these bills just so that things that we're watching as an association to let all of you know as well. One of them is Senate Bill 142. It's to modify the meeting place. That one is just because the way it is in statute, it specifically says courthouse, and there are some that are now meeting in like administrative buildings, that sort of thing. So that's not a big deal. It's just to let you know that that's why
So it
that's
doesn't say
there.
courthouse, it just says some
Yeah,
public.
other so many county commissioners meet in administrative buildings. This bill would allow the commission to meet in locations other than courthouses, basically. So that shouldn't really be too difficult. Also, so the Veteran Cemetery Road, that's quite a deal.
What bill number?
That will be Senate Bill 181. It needs improvements. It's a township road.
Oh,
So yeah, they're still trying to work that out to bring it up to that it's in a good driving condition.
they need to
And
make
so
it-
they're trying to decide who's going to pay for that, basically. So they're kind of coming to the state and asking for help to get that road in shape. And then it sounds like probably the county will end up with future maintenance on it, but that's still
this
to
is
be
Minnehaha
determined.
County. we're
Yeah,
talking about.
Minnehaha County, yes, Sioux Falls. So it's outside the city limits. It's a township road, but it's not in good passable condition they figure sometimes there could be, like maybe each day there could be 6 funerals, in that cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to take some. Senate Bill 150, that's about fireworks. Some point in time, it used to be a class 2 misdemeanor that was removed. They're trying to get that back in if they don't follow fire danger situations or whatever. So that one is just to try to get that class 2 misdemeanor put back into it. This one, I mentioned to Cindy, Senate Bill 152, it's authorized counties to issue off-sale liquor license. Not sure what's going on or why that one is in there. It used to be like that may not exceed 3, and now that wording is changed to 2 for the first 1,000 of population, may not exceed 1 for each additional. That was just something that was brought up yesterday, so just kind of keeping an eye on that.
It's been scheduled for a hearing on the 10th, tomorrow.
Yeah. Here's the other one. So this was to replace, remember the first one about having to publish online or whatever, and that was going to cost the county. So there's this House Bill 1120. That's kind of a replacement of that. This would be a free, it would not be a cost to the county, but I'm not sure what the intent is as to that we have to do it on, we do it locally. So I'm not really sure what the push is on this, but
The
this
Bureau-
is,
The Bureau of Administration will create and maintain the public searchable internet website for local governments.
Right.
So that's something that they're going to maintain,
Mhm.
but we can publish information too.
yeah, and the thing is to keep it current, that's the next thing, because there is that law in place, like with our ordinances and stuff, you have to keep things current or you can be sued, but maybe this is a whole different, I don't know, it just seems kind of cumbersome, like why, what's the reasoning that this
Does
is?
that affect, does it look like that affects publishing in local papers in the county?
We'll still have to do that, but this is that extra, when they were
The extra,
wanting,
this is-
yeah.
okay.
This just looks like a website that is going to be owned and maintained by the state
Mhm.
that can be utilized for local governments to publish public information
But
as
are
a
we going to be,
repository.
are we going to be required to do it? I mean, they're going to maintain it,
It
but then
says
are we
local
all?
governments shall provide and post all meeting information on the website.
Right, so they want a statewide sort of resource for every, and I don't understand
So they're still
why.
making it mandatory, just taking the cost away.
Mhm.
So
It's a duplication.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
Yeah.
our own website. It's a duplication of,
Now it's a state one.
yeah, no, I get it. I
Yeah.
think they're trying to probably appease the forces behind the other one, maybe.
So February 15th, that the courthouse is closed, will be published on that.
I
It
don't
hasn't
know.
been-
I don't know.
It's not specific on what kind of information
Yeah.
It has a
they're
bill,
looking
has
for.
a delayed
Yeah.
effective date of July 1, 2022.
I don't know of any of the details, but I visited with Nancy York in regards to that House bill, and she was really in favor of it because she thinks that it's all based on making better transparency.
Mhm.
And that's how it's being sold, being more transparent and what the state can do to help the counties be more transparent.
Well, Bartles and Deutsch are both sponsors of that bill, so.
I have to talk to them and see why what their thing is. I mean, because if we do it already, maybe there's some counties that aren't doing this and that's why, I don't know.
Or just, you could maybe suggest an amendment to say, if you don't do it on your own.
If you don't
Tony,
have your
then
Yeah, if you
own-
don't have your own.
This is
Right.
provided as a venue.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
that could be an opportunity for them to
There's a
do
lot of
it.
counties that don't have a newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would
Problem.
this would be a good
No,
place, this
no.
would be a good place for that, in those
Mhm.
situations, yeah.
But if they don't have a newspaper in county, they do have to they have to
Yep.
designate somebody else.
Whether it's out of.
Yes,
out of
yes,
the
they're not,
area.
they're not, they're
They're not
not
immune.
off the hook
They're not off
for
the hook. They're not
publications,
immune,
right?
yeah.
They do have to choose somebody else, yes.
Also mentioned during the call, another commissioner said to watch House Bill 1136. I haven't went in and read it yet, but it's something to do with the Department of Health as it relates to counties and municipalities. Provides a board of county commissioners cannot supersede or preempt the authority of the Department of Health under Chapter 34-22. I don't know what is behind that. It's just something they said.
What
keep
bill
an eye
number
on it.
again?
House Bill 1136. So, and then obviously the other one that I mentioned earlier, House Bill 1230, that's to establish that fund. They don't have big hopes that that will make it out of committee probably, but just keep
It
an eye
looks
on
like
it.
1136 is just an amendment.
I don't know, it sounds like it's going to be a big deal. That's
Is
just
the,
what I
each
heard yesterday
municipality-
from
Is the
another.
association sending out, like they always have done in the past, at the end of the week, an update of all of the bills and then they labeled them, in favor of.
Yeah,
pass. I haven't seen that
I've
yet.
been getting
Yeah,
them,
they've
I
been, yeah, they've
guess.
been sending it. Yeah.
What's it coming under? I'm not getting it.
It should be just from
Just
Chris
Chris,
Jacobson.
yeah.
So you've been getting them, Lee?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's called something Capital Watch is what
Yeah.
she's
Capital Watch,
calling
I've
it.
been getting
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
I think
so
I got it once, but now, like today, I
Last
can't.
week, no, last week she didn't send one out, but the previous week.
Well, maybe
she did.
I was looking, I had one a week or so ago.
Not that I noticed last week unless I missed it, but
Okay.
There is the coroner's bill too. Any update on that from the association?
they didn't mention that at all. What number is
Okay.
that, Troy?
I'm not sure what the bill number is. Let me look here real
Coroner's
quick.
bill, what's that?
That was one.
I can mention that to
Hold on
Bob
just a minute.
and
Let
then
me
they
see if I
can keep an
find
eye
here
on it.
quick.
Yeah, I've seen that too, I guess, just kind of looking through the list, but I don't remember.
You know which one I'm talking about, Brenda?
Not exactly. I was
Okay.
skimming through that and I thought I seen something about coroner, but I didn't really zero in on it because
It makes it a non-elected position. It makes it
Oh,
an
that
appointed
one.
position
Oh, yeah,
by the
that's
commission.
right. I saw
Oh,
that.
yes, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
So there's some counties, I thought they were going to have it either or, like the county can decide what way they want to go, if they want to have it as an appointed or if they want to leave it as elected. I thought that's how we left it when we had that discussion when they were talking about it. Okay.
Here it is, Senate Bill 66, yeah.
An act to revise provisions.
That was introduced back on, let's see.
Allowing them to elect or may appoint to get rid of population components completely. So that was kind of the thing, so.
Sometimes they get elected and I didn't even know they were on the ballot.
Very seldom will, in Codington, has there been a race for
contested.
coroner, right,
Right.
right.
Didn't we have one a couple years ago?
Yeah, we did, but it's, and
That
that was one in maybe 20 some years.
Well, there's a lot of them that have.
In fact, there was a legislative page that was, or assistant that was calling around to get that information from counties.
Yeah.
When was the last contested coroner race in,
Yeah.
or how many in the last 20 years? And I think we had one.
So yes, I believe they are going to leave that option open to either leave it as elected or appointed, which I guess we would decide that then. They had a population, a number on their previous, the old bill had a certain population, then.
I think
you
it's mainly an
needed to-
issue for smaller counties.
Well, Lincoln County's having an issue.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's why they,
Yeah,
Just-
anyway,
Just one comment on it's 12:30, that's Representative Dennert of Brown County's bill. So he spoke to me a little bit about that, but it's interesting, just for FYI for you guys. When we did our half-cent sales tax bill, we said that can be, that could be something that we asked the voters for, that half-penny sales tax. I mean, the idea was that, and it was just used for county infrastructure to include the jails. Then we added in the phrase or a facility designed to reduce jail incarceration or reduce recidivism. And that paragraph's almost exactly the same in this bill. So and the idea though, it wouldn't be as much revenue on a regular basis, but it'll be regular. That's kind of the idea. That's the difference. So it's an interesting idea. So anyway, it's
House Bill 1007 revised certain provisions regarding checks or bid bonds for public improvements. They want to change that amount from 50,000 to 100,000. That passed the House, the local government, and the House of Reps, so it's probably on the Senate side. Another one we are watching is House Bill 1259. That's to create a rural access infrastructure fund to provide for the use and distribution of the fund, make appropriations and declare an emergency. This is with Representative Fink, and this is in relation to township roads where they would create a fund, and it would be in the county, and then they will have certain criteria. It's kind of like our big grant of how to appropriate that out.
Where would the money come from?
I don't know, they
Yeah,
have.
It's right here.
Yeah,
The
they,
percentage of allocation. Oh, that's
supposedly-
allocation Distribution.
Yeah, there
Where does
was.
it ultimately come from, though? Because I think
First.
he's been working on that kind of a project in the past, and I think part of it had to do with, there's a lot of things that are
Mhm.
exempt from sales tax, and working through some of those things that maybe they wouldn't be, that's kind of the idea. So
That'll go
Well-
the 41st day in a hurry.
No, I don't think so. This has got some traction this year. Last year it didn't go through, but
I think he was still kind of working on the idea. I happened to have an opportunity to talk to him
they
about it
have a
last
bill. It did drop now. They got a
It
bill.
was referred to the House Transportation Committee on the 4th. That's where it's at right now.
So
Yeah.
it hasn't been heard though.
It hasn't been heard. No.
And then also House Bill 1237. That one is all right as well. Make appropriations for purpose of funding county and township roads
What
and
was-
bridges.
And what was the bill number on Representative Fink's bill?
1259. He's also involved in 1237. Fink is
Right,
kind of
okay.
in charge of both of them.
Okay.
And we didn't see it, I mean, we're supportive of both as an association, since they have the revision there as to how we would allocate that out. So. Anyway,
Lots of
Those-
stuff going on. We're halfway
Yeah.
through the legislative session already.
yeah, all of a sudden, there's a lot of them kind of that get
What's the
dropped.
date that they have to have the bills taken out of?
It
House
is.
and Senate?
They've already,
Before crossover day, I think it's gonna be pretty quick. I think it's,
I would
I
think
think it's
so.
already passed, hasn't it?
no, not the crossover day, but the drafting,
Oh,
the
draft.
bill, the dropping is,
The days to drop a bill that was
That's-
last
I
Friday.
wonder if Steve
Yeah.
wanted to have an exact.
The drafting
did.
bill was
Okay.
last Friday.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he
Let me tell you
does.
the calendar. There's a calendar.
Oh,
And it
you
would
can
be
only
on
meet for a certain amount of time,
Contracts.
contracts, yeah.
unlike our neighbors to the
Okay.
east.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? Just keep an eye on these, just thought I'd bring you up to speed on the ones that we're kind of watching as an association,
Right.
and so you are able to do that as well. Reach out to any representatives if there's, something that you see that would be not our best interest. I believe we do have a need to go into executive session, and that would be underneath 3. It would be contract negotiations, and then we'll find out where Steve went to do that. So I would look for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gabe. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are in executive session. There will be no action taken